guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for being here. So today we're going to do a quick and easy recipe. We're going to keep it pumpkin themed. I have all my pumpkin themed mugs, my fall mugs, my Halloween mugs out. It's my favorite time of year, so I really embrace all of these cute little things. I even have like pumpkin dishes to cook with. Super cute. But anyway, I'm gonna make these cookies that were basically a hit across the board. Vegetarian, vegan, everybody loved these cookies. So really it's gonna become like my staple cookie, to be honest, because I can make everybody happy with it. So that is what we're going to make today. I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is, because you know how I do things. I'm not fussing. I don't have time. I work like a dog and I am super tired, so I do not have time to be fussing in the kitchen. Everything is super quick, very easy, and as healthy as I can possibly make it. So I will show you alternatives of how you can even make it even healthier. But remember, I'm cooking for teenagers too, and if it doesn't have a little bit of sweetness or chocolate chips or chocolate chunks, they're not going to have it. So keep that in mind. You can make it even healthier, but I will show you along the way how you can modify it. So although I love the season, you guys know I don't do well with a cold. Like, I'm still wearing my Florida tie-dye shirt. I'm embracing all of the nice weather and the amazing experiences that I've had this year. I've been really, really fortunate. So I'm just trying to, get into the spirit, because I do love the season, but it's so short and it gets so cold so quickly. That's what gets me. I don't have like any transition time. The garden is like, it went from producing tomatoes and I'm still getting veggies, and it was nice and warm, to freezing cold and wet, and now I have to clean out this garden, always freezing and miserable. But that's just the way it rolls here in Ontario. I know the other places in Ontario, I'm fortunate I'm in Toronto, it's a lot worse. I get it. We're really fortunate. It is quite warm here in comparison to other parts of Ontario. Anyway, I'm just trying to find the positives right now. I'm going to be baking. I'm going to be creating some cozy recipes and just trying to get into the fall vibe, coziness, and trying to find again the positives, because this is my time where I really, really struggle, and the snow hasn't even hit yet. It's just the transition from the nice weather, the warm weather, the weather where I'm producing vegetables in the garden, to just a bare ground outside and bare pots outside, looking at all the things that I wish I was growing. I really, this is a time where I'm really focused on my gratitude and the things that are important to me and the things I'm thankful for, because that's what helps me get through this period. It's really tricky until I figure out some sort of plan B. And I can't do that yet. So yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoy the recipe, and sorry about my rambling, but I haven't chatted with you guys in a while. So let's get into the recipe. So let's get into the recipe. It is super easy to put together. It has very few ingredients, and you can definitely modify this recipe depending on what you have on hand. So I'm using, of course, pure pumpkin puree. I have cinnamon and applesauce and pumpkin pie spice. I'm using brown sugar because that's what I have on hand, but any sugar will do. And I have pure vanilla extract. And what is optional is the chocolate chips or chocolate chunks, depending on if you want to add those in or not. And then just a baking powder, and then a flour of choice. You can use whatever you have on hand, whatever is cheaper or healthier, up to you. And yeah, like I said, very simple ingredients. You can definitely swap out the different sugars. You can use squash instead of the pumpkin. You can use whatever, root vegetable you think would work better for this. I have done it with squash before and it was super tasty. But yeah, I mean, pumpkin is fine too. And we are in the fall season, so of course we want to try to use pumpkin as much as possible, but there are alternatives. So yeah, pumpkin pie spice is definitely a hit for me in my house with my baked goods, but if you don't like that, you can add something else, totally up to you. But like I said, very staple ingredients, and most people have these ingredients on hand. So first things first, I want you to preheat your oven to 350 degrees and let it get nice and hot while you prepare the recipe. Next, you're going to add the 1 cup of pure pumpkin puree. Just be mindful not to get the pumpkin pie mix because that one is loaded with tons of sugar and you don't want that one. You just want the pure pumpkin. Now you can go ahead and add a 1/2 cup of applesauce. I use an unsweetened applesauce because I am using brown sugar to sweeten up my muffins. If I wasn't using the brown sugar, then maybe a sweetened applesauce would be fine, but it will be too sweet, I find, if you use the regular applesauce. So just be mindful of that, and if you can't find unsweetened, just cut down on the other sugar in the recipe, and that's pretty much it. So don't worry about the complete recipe because I will be adding it in the description box, so don't worry about that. The whole recipe will be there for you in written format. So you're going to go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Just make sure that it's pure vanilla extract and not the fake junky stuff because that is just pure chemicals. And if you can't find it, then you don't need to put it in. Don't worry about it, just don't put it in at all. Okay, and we're going to throw in 3/4 cup of the sugar of choice, whatever you have on hand. I have brown sugar just because that's what my daughter's been using for her baking lately, so that's what I'm using up. Sometimes I use coconut sugar. My favorite way of sweetening it is with dates, but because dates have been so expensive, I haven't been able to use that in my baking recently. So hopefully I can go back to doing that because that would be the healthiest route for these cookies, but right now it's the brown sugar that I'm using, and 3/4 cup I think is a little bit too much in my opinion. I like it with less sugar, but because I'm making it for others and because I'm making it for teenagers, I am adding the extra sugar, so keep that in mind. You can definitely decrease the sugar in the recipe. So in another bowl, you're just going to have 2 cups of your flour of choice. All-purpose flour, oat or brown rice flour will work perfectly in this recipe. And then you can add 1 teaspoon of baking powder as well. So this is where you're going to go in and add your spices. I like to add my 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. You can definitely customize this. You can decrease the amount if you feel like this is too much, and you can increase it if you really want a lot of flavor. So totally up to you, or if you can't find pumpkin pie spice, you could add in something else. You can add in just some nutmeg, whatever your preference is. This is where you can definitely customize it. So this is what I'm doing, and I like to mix it through in the dry ingredients and get it nice and combined. I also like to add just a sprinkle of salt. It really does make the difference in the cookie. Just a little sprinkle goes a long way, and I use sea salt in the recipe. You can use Himalayan pink salt or whatever salt you have at home.